whack, whack. Well, welcome back to the Sawmill. Jeez, I've had to say that 3 times. I just can't get it right today. Today's going to be day 2. I guess I would call it day 3. So the last video would have been day 1. That was the assembly and installation of the Timbertech AccuLift on our Woodland Mills HM130 sawmill. And day 2 would have been yesterday. My dad and I actually got to use the AccuLift. We only did 1 log. It was an oak log and we just cut live edge on it, but wow, I thought it was going to take a while to get the AccuLift dialed in, and I was a little bit worried about the accuracy. It was actually super easy and extremely accurate. We were really happy with the performance. So we're going to demonstrate that here today, but I want to go over a couple things. So one problem immediately that we had is we realized the battery in the cold weather lately has gotten pretty weak. So as we would try to go up and down with the lift, it would either not measure right or the screen would go blank. And we were trying to figure out what was going on. Long story short, once we made a few cuts, the charging system on the mill was able to charge the battery enough that everything started working correctly. So today I did take a look at that battery and I was a little bit shocked to see that it's 7 years old. So definitely going to be replacing that soon. It's basically a lawnmower battery. It's 350 cold cranking amps. I need to see what I can do to upgrade that a little bit. I'd like to have a little bigger one, so I'll check into that. So on the last video I left you off with a couple concerns. One was the oscillation of the lift mechanism and going down. The whole lift would oscillate. So I sent an email to Byers Timbertech, and Josh there was very quick to reply to emails. That was awesome. And he was able to really help me out. By his suggestion, I pulled this lift system back off and tightened the original 2 bolts behind the motor here, and that cleared up almost all of the oscillation. But since then, it slowly seems to be starting to come back, which tells me I need to get Loctite on those 2 bolts. So that seems to be a non-issue. I think once I get that tightened back up with Loctite, we should be good. And then, like I was saying, I was worried about how the accuracy was going to be. Well, that does not seem to be a problem at all. Like I said, we cut through that whole oak log yesterday, and we went to 1 inch on every board, which this system also calculates the blade curve. So all you need to do is go to 1 inch every time up here. That was super nice, very easy to use. And I tell you what, I was so surprised at the accuracy of this. Every single cut was perfect, exactly 1 inch. So I think my 2 concerns that I had with the oscillation and the accuracy are all taken care of. I can't wait to get sawing some more with it. So today I have a pine log already up on the mill. It's rainy and nasty, muddy outside, so yesterday I loaded this log up so it would be dry for us today. And it's not a nice log. I'll show you here in a minute. But my goal is to get some use out of it, what I can. This log's been sitting on the ground for, geez, maybe 3 years. Probably 2, but maybe 3. It's white pine, and I just want to get some 4/4 boards out of it, 1 inch boards. So let's take a look at it. Well, here it is. Check out this beauty. Told you it was not a nice log. I don't think the camera is even showing you guys very well how crooked it is. It's pretty bad. But let's try out the new Timbertech AccuLift and see what we can get out of this log. Alright, so it's as simple as turning the system on-off switch underneath here. Screen comes on. As far as I know, every time that you turn it on after it's been off a while, it always starts off saying cut depth 0. And then you move it wherever you want. So we're going to start off cutting the cap off the top of this log. I don't know, we're going to start somewhere in there. This one's going to be pretty ugly. But, so we'll put it right there, and then once you've went down to wherever you're going to cut, you can hit the 0 button. Now you're back to cut depth to 0. Let's give it a shot. Something that's really nice. This is not something I ever used to do when I was using the hand crank. Once you get done making a cut, like right now we just cut this top cap, I've already zeroed the AccuLift. Now I can lift it up above the piece that we just cut. I can pull it back. And now, if I want to cut the next board, or I want the blade back down where I had just cut, all I gotta do is go right back down to 0. Here's what we ended up with. I told you this log was not very nice, not straight at all. Got a big gap right here where we didn't cut at all. It's really thin here, wider down there, wide here, thin down there. So we're not going to get into good wood for a while yet here. We'll try to get this down to a decent cant as we go. Alright, I'm going to lower it down for a next cut of 1 inch thick, and the AccuView will automatically calculate the blade kerf into that, so I just need to set it at 1 inch. There it is, it's as simple as that. Let's give it a cut. Let's get a tape measure on here. Exactly 1 inch. Let me get you guys zoomed in here. See if this tape measure will hang on there. There we go. You can't get much better than that, guys. And it will do it consistently every single time. That's what just amazes me, how accurate this is. On the first day I had my doubts, but man, I really like this AccuLift. Oh, and hang out, guys, I haven't shown you my favorite part yet. We'll get to it once we get the cant cut out and squared up on this log. Usually I can pick up these logs with the tractor forks and tilt them back and it'll roll right over onto the flat, and then I can set it right back on the sawmill. This course, this one had to embarrass me a little bit. discovered this yesterday. You see me set it down there for my 1-inch cut. I just made that 1-inch cut. Now we have a 1-inch board sitting on top of the can. Once I had set it at 1 inch depth of cut, I zeroed the meter on the AccuLift. Now I can raise it up over the board and bring it back, bring the saw back. And now, since I had zeroed the blade for my 1-inch board earlier, I can now lower it back down past 0, go right to 1 inch, cut another board, lift it up, bring it back, lower it down 1 inch again, cut another board, and I can cut a whole stack of boards before I have to remove them. So I think that's a little quicker way to do it when you're cutting like this off a nice square can, and that's going to be very useful in the future. So there we go. We just cut 5 passes. My arm doesn't hurt from cranking up the sawmill head at all. I did 0 cranking. My button pushing finger feels great. And I did that way faster. I almost think I could, if I was to do that by hand cranking, I probably would say it's twice as fast as hand cranking if I was to compare the hand crank to the AccuLift. And let's get some measurements here. One inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Every single board, perfect, 1 inches. Or 1 inch, not 1 inches. Alright guys, well, that's the AccuLift from Byers Timbertech with a nice digital readout. And my opinion is I'm glad I bought it. Worked out a couple bugs there. Like I said, customer service was absolutely excellent. He was very fast to respond and simple answers that fixed my problems, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Like I said, he had me tighten up those 2 bolts a little bit, which I'm now going to put some Loctite on. And he did say also that don't worry if I broke anything, he will replace it for free. So I thought that was just unbelievable customer service. That's a huge plus in my book. That's just like Woodland Mills. They've been nothing but excellent to deal with. So I'm happy to have this AccuLift on the Woodland Mills sawmill, and I can't wait to use it more. This model here that I bought was $550, and it was, I want to say shipping was like $30, but I had a coupon code which basically covered the shipping, so my total was $550. And this is the more expensive model. They have 2 speeds. This one is the 28 inches per minute model, and they also have a 14 inches per minute model. I went with the faster one, and I was told also that this is about the same speed as the Woodland Mills model. It might be slightly faster. But like I said, guys, no complaints here, and I can't wait to use it more. AccuLift from Byers Timbertech. Grab one. Thanks for watching.